Okay, so today we'll look at IELTS reading, academic reading, and we are going to look at questions which are known as match headings questions. Now, this is one set of questions which people find very, very difficult to handle. Well, they may be difficult. Yes, they are difficult. However, it is not something that we cannot learn or we cannot master. With a little bit of practice, it is very much possible. And then you will realize that it was not really so difficult after all. So let's get going. So in this session, we're going to look at how to understand the questions, how to quickly locate the answer, and also we'll have a look at a little bit of time management. It is very important for you to manage your time because you get only 60 minutes. And within those 60 minutes, you have to complete 40 questions, which gives you only 1.5 minutes per answer. And that includes your reading, understanding, reading the question, and locating the answer and writing it. So 1.5 minutes is by no means enough to complete 40 questions in 1 hour. Hence, the time management is necessary. We'll talk about time management in detail in another video, but right now let's look at the questions at hand. Okay, so here is what your passage would look like. There would be the first thing that you should look at is the heading. The heading is going to give you a very nice idea about what the entire passage is going to be like. So in this case, the heading talks about, or the heading is the lost city. So it gives me an idea that, okay, we are going to probably talk about a city which was lost, maybe something like, Mohenjo-daro and all those things. So it somehow gives me a vague idea. I still don't know what it is about, but then that is the idea it gives me. Then sometimes they also give you this kind of subheadings. They may not always be there, but yes, sometimes they may be there. So this will help you further. Let's read this. An explorer's encounter with the ruined city of Machu Picchu, the most famous icon in the Inca civilization. Now, this word, you may have realized that I had a little difficulty in pronouncing it. Now, in reading, you might come across this kind of, any kind of words which you may not be able to pronounce. It's okay. This is not a speaking test, so there is no concern about pronunciation. If you're not able to read it, just skip it and move on. Okay, and then start your passages. Here is passage A. So we look at passage A from the next slide onward. Okay, so here's the passage A, the same one that we saw earlier. And here are your questions. The first thing you should look at is how many headings do you have? So we have got 1 to 8. We've got 8 number of headings and we've got paragraphs A to G, which means we have got 7 paragraphs. So it clearly points out that we've got 1 additional heading over here. Doesn't really matter, but yes, it's always good to know that so that you don't get confused later on, right? Let's go back to this point now. We are at paragraph A, and let's have a very quick look at the paragraph. Now, this is one question type. The list of headings is one question type wherein your skimming is not going to help you. So like it is said in skimming, you just read maybe the first sentence or the first 2 sentences and the last sentence of the paragraph, and that would give you a fair idea about what is there in that paragraph, right? That is said about skimming or skim reading. But for your list of headings question, I would recommend please go through the entire paragraph because you cannot get the gist of the paragraph until and unless you have read the whole paragraph. However, do not spend too much time on reading the complete paragraph. Go through it really very quickly. Let's go through the paragraph now. Okay, so this says, when the US explorer and academic Hiram Bingham arrived in South America in 1911, he was ready for what was to be the greatest achievement of his life. So here they are talking about this person, Hiram Bingham. Who was he? He was a US explorer, and he came here in 1911. And this was to be the greatest achievement of his life, right? Okay. And further, it says the exploration of the remote hinterland of the West Cusco. So all of the nouns, any kind of numbers and dates will be my keywords. So, and here he talks about the old capital of the Inca Empire in the Andes mountain of Peru. His goal was to locate the remains of a city called Vitcos. So here he talks about his goal. So there are two things we have come to know till now, that who he was, okay, who was this person in the first sentence, and where he went. And so this is my point number one. My point number two is his goal was this, okay? And then they carry on with Cusco lies on a high plateau at an elevation, okay? So this whole thing from here to here is talking the point number three, which is the location of Cusco. So there are 3 points over here. Who Hiram Bingham was and what he did, where he went, okay, what was his goal? And here they're talking about the location of this place, right? Let's go to the headings and see which of the headings suits this particular paragraph. Let's look at the first one. The first one talks about different accounts of the same journey. Did we speak about different accounts of the same journey? No, not at all. This cannot be the answer. Bingham gains support. No. Did we speak about anything, him gaining support? No, not yet. Did we speak about any common belief? No. The aim of the trip. Well, yes, we did speak, the paragraph did talk about his goal. So this possibly could be his answer, the answer for this particular paragraph, or the heading. This could be a suitable answer for this, a suitable heading for this paragraph. But we are not going to stop at this. We are going to read all the others also and eliminate the options. So the next one, a dramatic description. No, nothing of this was discussed. A new route. No, not at all. Did he publish his story? No. Bingham's lack of enthusiasm? No. So only one answer remains, the aim of the trip. And that would be my answer for this one. Easy, right? So now option number 4 has been eliminated and we've got the other options left, right? Let's move on to paragraph B. Okay, so here is my paragraph B. We'll have a look at it. Okay. Another thing that you can do is, you can just read all of these headings and just keep them in your mind, so that when something comes up about this, any of these headings, you can quickly refer to, you would quickly come to know that, okay, this could be the answer. Okay, now let's move ahead. So when Bingham and his team set off down the Arubamba in late July, they had an advantage over travelers who had preceded them. Okay, they had an advantage over who? Over the travelers who preceded them. What does that mean? Who had gone there before them. And what was the advantage? So they've got this mark over here, and here they are talking about the advantage. Okay, so what was the advantage? A track had recently been blasted down the valley canyon to enable rubber to be brought up by mules from the jungle. So what was the advantage? A new track had been created. Now, almost all previous travelers had left the river at this place and taken a high pass across. Okay, so here they are talking about which path or which track had the earlier people taken, right? So what could be there? So this paragraph is talking about when Bingham started his journey. Okay, this one, he had an advantage. This was the advantage, that the new path had been created. And this is talking about the path that all the previous travelers had taken. So 3 things here. Let's look at what goes here. Different accounts of the same journey. The first one, no, we did not talk about this. Bingham gained support. No, we did not talk about this. Did we speak about any common belief? No. The aim of the trip is already done. So I'll just put a 0 over here. Okay. Was there any dramatic description? No. A new route? Yes, a new route was found. However, we'll check out the other two also. Did Bingham publish his story? No. Was there lack of enthusiasm? No. So the correct answer is a new route. Fine. So that's going to be the heading for this one, right? Easy, isn't it? Let's move on. Okay. Now here we go to paragraph C. Now paragraph C talks about, so let's just mark off the ones that we have eliminated. The aim of the trip and the new route. These have been done. Or let me put it on to, let's just strike them out and a new route so that we know exactly what are our options, right? Okay, let's come back to the passage C, paragraph C. On 24th July, they were a few days into their descent of the valley. Okay, so they started and now on the 24th of July, it has been a few days that they have been traveling. What happened then? The day began slowly with Bingham trying to arrange sufficient mules for the next stage of the trek. His companions showed no interest in accompanying him up the nearby hill to see some ruins. Fine. Okay. That this person, Melchior Artiga, had told him about the night before. So there was a person called Melchior Artiga who had told him about some new thing to be seen previously on the previous day. So what happened next? The morning was dull and damp, and Bingham also seems to have been less than keen on the prospect of climbing the hill. I think this could be the answer. Bingham's lack of enthusiasm, right? Rest others, please check. Does it match the description? No. So option number 8 would be the answer for this one, right? Let's move on to the next paragraph. Okay, so here we come to our paragraph D. Let's remove all of the options first. So this is the aim of the trip, new route, and this one. So we are done with these. Now let's look at paragraph D. So Bingham writes about the approach in vivid style. Okay, he's writing about the approach in vivid style in his book. First, as he climbs up the hill, he describes the ever-present possibility of deadly snakes capable of making considerable springs when in pursuit of their prey. Not that he sees any. Then there is a sense of mounting discovery as he comes across great sweeps of terraces, then a mausoleum. So what is he doing? He's giving a description of his travel. Okay, so let's come back over here. Did he talk about different journeys of the same, different accounts of the same journey? No. Did he gain support? No. A common belief? Did he talk about any belief? No. A dramatic description? Yes, he's describing whatever he's seeing in a very, very dramatic way, right? And here, this one left? No, he has not published his anything as yet. So the correct answer would be a dramatic description. Right? Let's move on to the next one. Okay. So here, let's again eliminate the ones that we have already used. So no, not this one. The aim of the trip, a dramatic description was done, a new route, and this one. So how many options do we have left? We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 options left, right? And we are at paragraph E. Now, paragraph E talks about, we should remember, however, that lost city of the Incas is a work of hindsight. Now, notice one thing. Here we have, the writer says, we should remember. Up to now, only Bingham's travels were being discussed. What he did, he went there, he started his travel, he was interested, he had lack of enthusiasm, all those things. It was all about him. But now suddenly we have changed over to we should remember. So the style of writing has changed, and maybe now the writer who is writing this particular article is talking from his behalf. Okay, so and he says we should remember, however, that Lost City of the Incas is a work of hindsight, not written until 1948, many years after his journey. So he says that the book has, whatever he has published, the book or article, whatever he has written, has been written as a hindsight. Okay, thinking of the past and then written, which means it was written many years after his actual journey. So his journal entries of the time reveal a much more gradual appreciation of his achievement. He spent the afternoon at ruins noting down the dimensions of. So this whole passage is talking about somebody else talking about Bingham's journey. Okay, so let's come back over here and look at our options. Different accounts of the same journey. Different accounts means another account or another person's perception or idea. Yeah, yes, this definitely talks about this, but let us also look at the other options. Bingham gains support? No. Any common belief spoken about? No. Bingham publishes his theory? No. So option I would be the correct answer. Let's move on. All right. So here we come to paragraph F, and here let's begin with this. However, soon after returning, it occurred to him that he could make a name for himself from this discovery. When he came to write the National Geographic magazine article that broke the story to the world in April 1913, he knew he had to produce a big idea. He wondered whether it could have been the birthplace of the, give me a moment, yeah, the birthplace of the very first Inca, Manco the Great, and whether it could also have been what chroniclers describe the last city of the Incas. This term refers to the dash of the settlement where the Incas had fled from the Spanish invaders. Okay, now I'm over here. Sadly, his vision of the site as both the beginning and the end of the Inca civilization, while a magnificent one, is inaccurate. We now know that Vilcabamba actually lies 65 kilometers. Okay, so this is talking about here. Here is your answer. Soon after returning, it occurred to him that he could make a name for himself from the journey. And then he wrote this article for the National Geographic magazine. And that is when he, he publishes his theory. Right? Okay, so that's the answer for this one. And let's move on to the next one. And this, I suppose, is the last one. Yep. Okay, so here we come to, let's first remove all the used options. Different accounts of the same journey, yes. The aim of the trip, a dramatic description, a new route. Okay, this one and this one. So we are left with these two options. Bingham gained support and a common belief. So our answer is now going to be any of these two. Let's read. So one question that has perplexed visitors, historians, and archaeologists alike ever since Bingham is why the site seems to have been abandoned before the Spanish conquest. There are no references to it by any of the Spanish chroniclers, and if they had known of its existence so close to the Cusco, they would certainly have come in search of gold. Okay, up to now, have we spoken about Bingham gained support or a common belief? No, right? Let's move on. So an idea which has gained wide acceptance. So here is a clue. An idea which has gained wide acceptance. It could be possible a common belief, but let's read on. Okay, so an idea which has gained wide acceptance over the past few years is that Machu Picchu was a Moya, a country estate built by an Inca emperor to escape the cold winters of Cusco, where the elite could enjoy monumental architecture and spectacular views. Furthermore, the particular architecture of, okay, so they're talking about the architecture, and here, by custom, whatever his name is, descendants built other similar estates. So they're talking about the building, the construction, and why and how it was built, right? So coming back to this, are we saying that Bingham gained support? No. But yes, there is a common belief over here, an idea which has gained wide acceptance, a common belief. So here is our idea, and that brings us to the last part of this. And this one was the extra one, right? So we have totally omitted this. None of the paragraphs spoke about Bingham gaining support from anywhere, right? So you see, it's not really so difficult. And with practice, you will definitely be able to do this really quickly. Trust me, many of my students have mastered this art. You can too.